Hey, this is Quayshawn Cunningham here at the NC State Track Complex, otherwise known as the Paul H. Derr Track Complex. And obviously this is home to our student athletes, especially our track team. Oh, hey there. Our track team does practicing as well as our other athletic programs. And yeah, events that are held at this track are obviously the Raleigh Relays event held by the NC State track and field team, where they host schools from all around the nation, as well as the NC State track camp. I think he's ready for the season. And as well as the soccer camp that be held over here. So in addition to the track, we have the Derr soccer field, where, as I mentioned before, the soccer team at NC State practices, as well as the track team at times. So a lot of the soccer camps, as I also mentioned before, take place here during the summer, and we get a lot of our early volume work going. And right in the heart of main campus, this is where all the spectating goes on. This is where all the fans for track meets as well as the soccer events will sit and watch the events taking place. So we need to make sure they're protected as well. So some of you may be thinking, oh, it's just a track, it's an oval. How can you get hurt on the track? It's common sense. Well, what's common sense to a lot of people is also not common sense to a lot of people. So one of the major risks that I've identified as I've been running track for the last, 11 or 12 years is people running backwards on the track. There is meant to be one direction of traffic flow on the track. The lane numbers are shown that way, so I don't know if a lot of people understand that, but I feel like some guidelines could be put into play. So maybe we could give a little example of this. Now I'm just running and whoa! Come on, bro. So that brings me to my next topic. We talked about people running backwards on the track, but there's also the same rules apply as when you're walking across the street on a track. You want to look both ways because you don't know which ways people are running, especially at a track like this where you have stands set up, and from an area like the one I'm standing at right now, it's kind of hard to see who may be starting from over there. And also, the problem here is where the problem lies. So a lot of times sprinters, when they're doing runs, it's only like 60 to maybe 80 meters. So they start from a drive phase when their head is down. They can't see who's in front of them. So when you have kids practicing out here, they're at those camps, they don't know any better and they're just walking across the track. So as they walk, I don't think he saw me. So you never really know what's going to end up in a lawsuit, but that's the responsibility of the company or whoever is taking care of these facilities are responsible for them. And I feel like rules being put in place for how to deal with weather conditions that come about. So a lot of times after heavy rain during the spring, there will be puddles on the track, as well as in the winter there could be ice on the track. So I know during the season they take care of this pretty fast because the student athletes have to practice out here, but I feel like rules need to be in place for the spectators or everyday people that come out here that need to see things like that. Proper usage of equipment may be one of the worst hazards of all. When you have these camps and things like that going on and these youth track and field teams out here and they don't know how to properly use equipment, there's no limit to the amount of injuries that could take place. So I think there needs to be some guidelines as well as to how we can take care of these kids and make sure nothing happens. Now, the steeplechase, one of track and field's most exciting events to watch, can also be one of the most dangerous for an everyday track enthusiast, someone who just wants to go out on a job with a friend or just anybody. So what is this? This gap, it's typically filled up with water. for the steeplechase, obviously when the event's going on, but it's just kind of here, and there's no guideline about it. And some people may not know what the steeplechase is. So for me to, I don't know, be 5 years old and go, whoa, who knows what'll happen. So one of the biggest injuries after observing the track that I felt like could occur was, concussions for one. If you're improperly using hurdles, as we saw displayed, the first thing that's probably gonna hit the ground is your head. You could possibly break a limb, tripping over the steeplechase. There are a number of things that could occur, and one of the things I wanted to implement for the plan was a sign with some safety procedures on there. And here you can see there's a sign at the track, but it doesn't really cover anything regarding safety at all. It's all about kind of scheduling and reserving the track, but there's nothing really telling you, hey, don't do this, don't do this, this is what you should do. And some people may not realize that, it looks pretty open, it looks safe, but there are a lot of dangers that could occur. So I definitely think that would be good to implement. My last tips for the Derr track complex to prevent, lawsuits and other liabilities that could come to play would be to, obviously to put locks on resources such as hurdles to prevent people from accessing that maybe shouldn't be at the track. But if they should be at the track, so such as, the youth camps or the organizations, the track and field teams, maybe give those coaches with proper registration keys to those locks to where they can, obtain those resources. And lastly, to cover the steeplechase, just to make sure that, no one trips and falls or has any issues doing it.